Hello, buddy. MonoSquadFry here today, and welcome back to another video. And in this video, we are going to be ranking every single Rainbow Six Siege map to this date. So, I think the most recent map would be Nighthaven Labs. I could be mistaken, but Nighthaven Labs. Before going into the video, I have a very important thank you to tell you guys. I'm going to look on YouTube right now, but it has been a little bit of an overwhelming amount of support lately. It's not crazy, it's not in the thousands, but it's more than I usually get. I'm averaging 100 to possibly sometimes pushing to 200 views a video now. And that was not the normal. This is the new normal. Hopefully we can continue to grow, which is why from now on in the intro of my videos, this is not to be greedy, I just want to start to grow. If you guys want to, if you guys are interested in my content, if you guys want to see more of my content, consider liking and clicking that subscribe button, guys. We are growing slowly but surely. We are now averaging more views than we ever have before, and it has been very successful lately, and I could not thank you enough. I mean, this has been a small channel that's been going on forever, and now that it's getting a little bit more success, I am very glad to see it, and I'm very passionate about making these videos, and I've been enjoying making these videos for you guys. Now, on to the video. The first map that we're going to be doing no particular order today. I'm just going to be randomly picking them, so I'll be talking them in any order, and then ranking siege maps from 1 to 10. So, and I'm ranking them basically on my enjoyment of them. So this is my personal opinion strictly on what I like in the siege maps. These are my personal opinion. If you agree with it, you do, and if you don't, you don't. The one that we have to start with is Nighthaven Labs. Now, I actually just got done playing Ranked in Siege before making this video, so it kind of helps. I also just got done playing Nighthaven Labs, and what I gotta say about Nighthaven Labs is that it is not the greatest map, but once you learn it, it is not that bad. It seems scary to everybody at first, and it seems terrible, horrible, since you don't know what you're doing, but I don't think it's the worst map in the world. It's down there for me, because I don't enjoy it too crazy much. It's not something I would choose to play. It's not the map that I would say, hey, let's go play this. So, for me, if I had to rank it on a scale, I would put it at a nice 6 out of 10. It's not really super appealing to me, but maybe once I get to learn it more and play it more and enjoy it more, I guess, I'll put it higher. But for now, it sits at a 6 out of 10. The next map we have to talk about is a map that I actually used to hate, and I am talking about Consulate. Now, I used to absolutely despise this map. I'd be the one typing in chat, you know, who didn't ban Consulate? You know, I'd be yelling at my teammates for not banning Consulate, and they're like, oh, Coder, it's not that bad. Oh, Coder, it's not that bad. I hated it. I absolutely despised Consulate. For a while, it was my least favorite map in the entire game. But my opinion has changed since. I think it's partially due to me going on the PC and, you know, actually playing more ranked and taking the game a little bit more seriously. Now that it's also been reworked and I'm playing it more in rotation, I'm growing more to like it. Like, if it was rare and I didn't play it that much, I probably wouldn't like it as much as I do. But I actually don't mind playing Consulate. And for that reason, I'm going to give Consulate a 7 out of 10. The next map I want to talk about is Bank. Now, this is actually a very, very good map in my opinion. I love the build of Bank. And the few things they changed that made it annoying, because before, if you didn't know, in Siege, on Bank, there used to be a part in the main lobby of Bank where people could just rappel up the side and there'd be an open window there and they could just shoot at the people if your site is on second floor on that balcony there. And that used to annoy the crap out of me. Now, there is obviously a way to avoid that and, you know, skill issue, and I was still not great at the game at that point. I'm still not great, but I'm a little bit better than I was before, I cannot lie. But it was annoying, which made the map not enjoyable to play. But now, I absolutely love playing Bank. There are strategies that we run on there that are always fun to run, and it's just nice to be able to use all the mechanics on that map. There's so many different things, so many different ways you could push on Bank. Almost every site on there is awesome. I prefer to use the second floor site and the basement site, because those are just the two best sites on that map, in my personal opinion. I think a lot of people will agree with me. But I'm going to give Bank a solid 9 out of 10. That map is absolutely awesome in Ranked and in Standard. But if it's in Standard, or not Standard, but if it's in the map rotation and Ranked, don't ban Bank. I will get mad at you. This map is relatively newer. It's not the newest map, but I think it's the second newest map. Actually, I was wrong. Nighthaven Labs is not the most recent map in the game. Before you guys start typing in the comments, even if you already did, that's if my comments are on, because lately YouTube has been taking away the ability of people commenting on my videos lately and just turning it off. That's not me doing that setting, by the way. Anyway, Lair is the most recent map. That is my mistake. Lair is the most recent map in Rainbow Six Siege. But the one that I'm talking about right now is Emerald Plains. I want to talk about Emerald Plains and why I think it is overhated. There's a lot of people that don't like Emerald Plains, but in my opinion, that map has grown on me actually quite a bit, and I don't mind the build of it. I don't mind. I usually play Hard Breacher. That's usually my role when I'm running Ranked or Standard. I personally enjoy running Ace, going to that single wall on the second floor site, throwing my Ace there, repelling and staying repelled, and just kind of creeping back and forth on that balcony and taking out the enemies there. Or that window. That window is... Usually windows are annoying, but that window is actually kind of fun to play on this map. I just find enjoyment playing that balcony area also. And the downstairs ain't that bad either. And on defense, I usually like to roam on this map, and there's so many good spots you can sit to like listen if they're coming from one map or one side or the other, especially that one area where there's like a fountain in the middle and you can vault over to the other side and take out an enemy that way, or just quickly run around through the other door, and once you hear them, I like it. I like Emerald Plains actually quite a bit, and that is why I'm going to give Emerald Plains a solid 7 out of 10. I also just got done playing this map in ranked rotation as well, actually twice, back-to-back. Chalet. I love Chalet. I like Chalet a lot. It is not my all-time favorite. Would I put it on an S tier? No, I'd put it in an A tier. And I think Chalet belongs on a nice solid A tier if we were doing a tier list today, but we're not. But anyway, I like Chalet quite a bit. I like the basement site push. I like the second floor push. I like the way it plays, how you have bedroom and office, and how you have that door that you can rush into, or on defense, how you can castle it off, or that window on the side where you could put a mirror on there and then put another mirror to watch the library stairs. It's just a cool way to play the map. It's just a way that I enjoy it. And then, of course, basement site. I like to either stay on site and play as like Cade and try to Cade trick the wall. I'm still learning how to Cade trick. I'm pretty bad at that. But it's not that hard. I know, Crowder. I know it's not that hard to Cade trick, but I'm relatively new to Cade tricking, and I didn't really play electricity characters that much until just recently. So I like to roam. That's what I did on Chalet, and I like roaming and going up to like library area as Vigil, and sitting up there and looking down at the first floor when they break in through the main entrance and just gunning them down there. Or when you're on offense, it's a nice strategy to put a claymore under the window. I know this is not a tutorial video, but this is just things that we do in the map that little things make the map enjoyable. Strategy makes map enjoyable. Chalet, in my opinion, gets a solid 8 out of 10. While we're on the topic of it, and while I made the mistake, I'm actually going to take the time to talk about Lair. Now, this map is hated a lot. I noticed it through all the ranked games that I play. I always see in the text chat, why didn't we ban Lair? Or, why are we playing Lair? Lair sucks. Oh no, LMAP. And I kind of agree. I don't enjoy Lair that much. I think it looks cool. I think the aesthetic of the map is cool. The build is okay, but it's not the greatest. It's kind of a goofy build on the second floor, and I don't really use the first floor sites that much. Well, you kind of have to, so actually just forget what I just said. But the first floor sites are not the greatest either. It's just not the most fun map to play, and it's not a bad build necessarily, but it's not a good enough build to make me have fun necessarily. I'm going to give Lair a 5 out of 10. Next map I'm going to talk about is Canal, and I have a lot of friends, and there's a lot of people that are not big fans of this map at all, and I have a personal bias to this map because this is where I got my first ever ace. I was Jackal, they were second floor, I pushed through the first floor, ran up those stairs, killed all 5 of them. It was absolutely beautiful. I wish I had it clipped, but I don't. But that is how I got my first ever ace. I had it on Canal, so I'm slightly biased, but I understand where my friends are coming from on why they say this map is a little bit bad. Because, one, you spawn in a certain spot, and you know, Siege players know when you spawn in a certain spot in Canal, and if you run right, you're dead. You're gonna die. You're gonna hear that sound of a barricade breaking, the window's gonna open, and you're gonna get shot, and you're gonna die. You're just gonna die. It is really easy to get spawn peeked in this map, but at the same time, if you learn to avoid it and just go left and push up there, but there's also pretty cheeky peaks on it too. But I don't mind Canal that much, but it would not be my map of choice. And if it was, like, if there was, for example, Coastline or Clubhouse or a Cafe on the Border Bank, and Canal was the one to ban, I'm banning Canal. And I would, for example, another map that I don't care for as much as the others, like Border, I would rather play Border than Canal. Honestly, in my honest opinion, I would rather play Border than Canal. And the reason why I'm making these comparisons is because there's common maps out there that I feel like people are just like, not my map of choice, but I don't mind playing it. And then there's the maps that people absolutely despise. And Border's one of those ones where it's like, I don't mind playing it, not my map of choice, but I don't mind it. So that's why I compare Canal to Border. But Canal, if I had to give it a score, gets a 6 out of 10. Drago!
What the fuck does that even mean?
I don't know, but I saw it in a movie once. Next map that we're going to talk about is Cafe. Now, Cafe, it's similar to Chalet. I would not put it in S tier, but I would put it in A tier. I actually really like Cafe. Now, a strategy that I run on there is I run Nomad. I spawn Christmas Market. I go up there, blow open that hatch, put a Nomad on the red stairs, put a drone down there, make sure I'm not getting flanked, and then just push right through Cigar. It's always a fun sight on third floor. That's another thing that's cool about this map. There's a first, there's a second, and there's a third floor. It's all awesome. The cafe, bakery area, that site is fun to play too. How you could just sit in freezer, wait for him to run in sight, or you could push in through the backside on freezer. And there's just so many different ways you can push and play this map. It is such a big map with so many available possibilities that it's just awesome. Like second floor's train area, that's awesome, that's cool. Third floor, I gotta say, ooh, it's tough to pick a favorite site on there, but if I had to pick a favorite site to play, it's third floor. I love playing third floor. I love that Cigar area on offense where I can push through the hatch, or I love sitting in Cigar and watching for people running up the red stairs. It is just a fun site to play, and then putting that deployable on there, and there's people up on the balcony you could shoot at from across site. It's just got a fun build to it that so many different things can happen. It's an enjoyable map to play in my opinion, and if it's in my ranked rotation, I am not banning Cafe, and you better not ban Cafe either. Cafe gets a solid 8 out of 10. Next map I want to talk to you guys about is Theme Park. Theme Park is, you know what, another one of those maps that I absolutely used to hate, and I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's now kind of in the middle. It's complicated. The sites sometimes can be a little bit goofy, especially the top floor. I think that is slightly goofy. There's parts to it that I still don't know. There's parts of it, in my opinion, that are a little weirder than others. But other than that, if you could think of a good strategy, Theme Park can actually be a somewhat enjoyable time. Would it be my map of choice? No. Do I commonly ban it when it's in ranked rotation? Yes. Compared to other maps, for example, I would rather play Border than Theme Park. It's just, I don't know why. I always set Border as like the comparison ground to other maps, but that's just, I feel like, a good placeholder to compare, you know, like I said before in the last map. But either way, now we're talking about, my brain lost track, Theme Park. Yeah, now that we're talking about Theme Park, it's another one of those maps where, depending on where you spawn, you can run out, and then the two, you know, windows up on the top of the building, you can just get spawn peeked right away. Again, there is a way to avoid those, and there is certain ways to spawn, and there is strategies, but it is an annoyance that is added to the map, and honestly, I like the build of better maps than Theme Park. The build of Theme Park is not awful, but the build of Theme Park is a little goofy for me. So if I had to give Theme Park a score, I would give it a 7 out of 10. Not my map of choice, but not that bad. There's a map on here now that I'm going to talk about that I actually don't play that much because I usually play ranked or standard, and I never find this map in standard. It's because it's in quick play. I don't even know if it's in quick play rotation, but that is Fortress. This map is a little bit weird. I don't really know how to set it up that well. I know there's a funny strat that I've done with my friends before, though, where you run at a certain time, right when the prep phase is over, and you run, break open the barricade, get up to the roof, and kill the enemies on the roof. That was a fun strategy to run, and just for that reason, I will go up a point for the score I was going to give it. But Fortress, I really don't know how to play that well, and it's not the greatest map in my opinion. For example, if Fortress isn't map rotation for ranked, I'm banning Fortress. So, for that reason, I'm going to give Fortress a 5 out of 10. Next map I want to talk about with you guys is Outback. Outback, I think, is actually a little bit underrated. I actually didn't like Outback that much, but now the more I play it, the more I like it. The strat of spawning fuel pumps, and even from fuel pumps, if they go upstairs, you can attack both sites easily by spawning out fuel pumps. You can run to the right, you can bring your Thatcher with you, because most likely they're going to run electricity in ranked. Anyway, you can run to the right, you can climb up that little semi-truck. Careful of the window on the left, though. I know, CF tips. Careful of that window on the left. That could be a bit annoying. But blowing open that wall and just going into sight and droning it out, it's not that bad. Do I prefer the other sight? Yes. And then also on defense, I think it's actually pretty fun to play on defense on Outback. The shark area, I like the way that you can kind of roam and then just kind of creep up behind them up on that top half of garage on second floor. And then sometimes when they're not aware and you just kill them there, that's always a satisfying feeling. Roaming on this map is actually really fun, just like I said. And then, I'm trying to think of the other sites on this map. First floor, there is first floor sites, but I don't really play the first floor sites that much. I don't really see them getting picked that much because the second floor sites are just fun. That's just how the map is meant to be played, in my opinion. It is on the second floor for offense attacking it and defense defending it. It is just meant to be played on the second floor. But anyways, what do I give Outback? I actually give Outback an 8 out of 10. I don't think it's a bad map at all. I like Outback. Another map I want to talk about is Favela. I hate Favela. Favela's not a good map. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. The build sucks. It is weird. I don't think really many people in the Siege community like this map, and I'm one of those people. If Favela was removed, I would actually, probably cheer of happiness. And I'm glad that it's not in the ranked rotation. And I'm glad that I never play it because it's not usually in the standard rotation, I don't think either. So, you know what? Favela, you get a 3 out of 10. Get out of Siege. We don't need you there. And the next map I'm going to talk about is Oregon. Now, this map is absolutely horrible. Oregon gets a 1 out of 10. The build just sucks. I'm lying to you guys. And I'm sure you could tell that I was lying to you guys. Oregon is one of the best maps of all time. And if I had to rank Oregon on the tier list, it would go in S++. It would go on the top for obvious reasons. The build is awesome. Playing defense on the Oregon is absolutely awesome as well. It's just where you have the kids' room and you have the big window area and you have downstairs where usually sometimes they push in through attic. I like to play Vigil on defense on this map because I know that sometimes in the attic is where they like to put their hard breachers and they push through there. That's when you can just go through the back stairs, upstairs, creep around the corner, boom, you're in tower room, and you can get them down sometimes. Well, in rank, they're usually watching, so be careful. Remember, Carter Tips 101. But also, the basement site is fun to play. That's not a bad site to play when you're pushing through blue or if you're playing through upstairs or even on defense where you're sitting on site and you got a couple of mirrors set up and then you break open that wall and you set the deployable shield down, watch over blue. There's so many different ways you could play this map. And again, the build of this map is super awesome. I love Oregon. Oregon gets a 10 out of 10. A lot of people would think it is the greatest Siege map of all time, and I can't argue that. I have a personal favorite, and fun fact, it's actually not Oregon, but I do have a personal favorite map on Siege, but I see why a lot of people pick this as their favorite. Oregon gets the first 10 out of 10 on this video. Alright, I've talked about this one and made comparisons of other maps with this one. I'm going to go with Border to choose on the next one to talk about next. And Border is not awful. There is just a few flaws that make it a little bit annoying. For example, if you're playing, Teller's site and the people are sitting above on the balcony, they could just gun you down easily. But at the same time, the roles kind of reverse. If you're playing on offense and if you're sitting on that balcony gunning them down, it is extremely fun to do that. But there's just a couple of spots on the upstairs where, like, for example, if you wanted to try and do that, right across from the hallway is a big opening where you can get gunned down. And sight sometimes can be a little bit of a weird push because if you open the big wall on second floor, there could be somebody sitting in that small room, which a lot of people, including me, call sandwich. It's a small room where somebody could just make a shotgun hole on the bottom and then just gun you down from there. It's not perfect. Border is not perfect. But it is not super terrible, in my opinion, to the point where it has to be bashed down. So, if I had to give Border a rating, I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. Next map I want to talk about is Clubhouse. Clubhouse is a certified classic. I love Clubhouse. There's so many different builds you could do on it. There's so many different things you can do on it. I am stuttering over my words here. There's so many different things you can do on Clubhouse, and there's so many different characters you could play. All the sites are awesome. I mean, first floor, I don't usually pick, but if you were to pick first floor, that's a bit unique. I don't really like playing the first floor. Best way to play Clubhouse is either on the second floor or if you're in the basement. Both ways are awesome. Clubhouse is just a generally good map, and I will always, say don't ban Clubhouse if it's in ranked rotation. Because, that garage area, then you got the basement where you have to defend the oil pit, and there's blue, and there's dirt, and there's those stairs you can watch. And defense is fun. Offense is fun. You got the windows on the top. There's so many different strategies you can run. Clubhouse, in my opinion, is right up there with Oregon on some of the best Siege maps of all time, and it gets the second 10 out of 10 on this video. This next one is an interesting one because I didn't really get to play this map that much, and I don't really have fond memories of playing this map, but the next one I want to talk about is Hereford Base. I don't hear much about this map, but from what I played, it was actually not that bad. It was the centerpiece for that Grand Larceny mode. I don't know if you remember that. It was kind of like a Wild West theme where you'd shoot the ceilings and the vaults would, or not the vaults, yeah, the safes would come down. That was when the map was truly awesome. It was fun in custom games too, but I don't really remember it enough to give it a proper rating. But from what I do remember, it wasn't awful. So I think it's fair to give Hereford a 6 out of 10. If you guys think it's over or underrated with what I just said, that's fair to you, but I don't really have enough, gameplay experience on Hereford to really give it a proper rating. So if I had to give it a rating, I just would guess to give it a 6 out of 10, so that's my rating on Hereford. Up next, we have Skyscraper, and everybody's opinion is different on this, but before, this was my least favorite map on Rainbow Six Siege, and it's still down there for me. I don't know why. I mean, after playing it, it's not as bad as it was before. Definitely not my map of choice. I've always just had a personal dislike for Skyscraper. It's a 50-50 on this one. It looks really cool. I love the theme of it. But the build of it just doesn't work for me. I think it's just, I don't know. My gameplay style doesn't really add up with the way that Skyscraper plays. It just plays differently. It's a larger indoor map, and it's different. It's different with the way that it's built. And it's a little bit harder to play. If I had to rank, if I had to talk about maps that were probably harder to play on difficulty, if I had to give difficulty levels on maps, Skyscraper would be up there with difficult. And I think that's partially the reason why I don't really enjoy it that much. But as a map on its own, it's not awful. It's definitely above Favela. It's definitely above Yacht. It's definitely above Fortress and all that stuff that I gave before. So, if I had to give Skyscraper a rating, 6 out of 10. Next map we got to talk about is Tower. Now, Tower is kind of a forgotten map, and it's another one of those maps, kind of like Yacht. I don't want to see it in ranked rotation. I don't even know if it probably has, but I don't remember the last time that it was in ranked rotation. I don't even know if I was playing at any point when it was in ranked rotation. I don't fully remember. I don't remember there being a time that it was in ranked rotation. It probably was. For those of you who don't know, and a lot of people who don't, because I have never revealed this, but the season that I started playing Siege was when Mozzie was new. So, if there was any point during that time that Tower was in ranked rotation, apparently it's just a blip in my memory. But either way, I never want to see this map in ranked rotation. I think it's more for memes. I think it's more for fun. It's kind of a quick play map, but the build of it is a little clunky. It's a little weird. I'd put it down there with the other ones, and I'd have to give Tower a 4 out of 10. It's definitely not great. The build of it is just incredibly weird, and I just don't like it. Next up, we got to talk about a certified Siege classic that I'm a little bit biased about because I have so many fond memories on this map. This is when it was still in rotation, when I just started even, and it was House. House will forever be a legendary map. It is not a 10 out of 10, but it will forever be a map, and it will forever be in my heart for Rainbow Six Siege. I have a personal love for House. House is not a terrible map. I don't want to see haters hating on me for giving this rating to House, but House for me gets a 9 out of 10 because House just holds a special place in my heart. I'm also going to be a little bit biased about this one too because it's just, I have fond memories of playing custom games with my friends on this map, and it was always just a great time. And when we were playing, messing around on Quick Play, and we'd run funny strats on this map. It's more of a meme map. Do I want to see this map in ranked rotation? Most definitely not. I don't know how to play it well, and there's not really much you can do, and it's not really that large of a, well, in scale, it's probably a large map, but what you have room to play in is not a large map at all, and it doesn't really have a lot of great strats for many of the characters. It doesn't have build like the other maps. You can't really think of many strategies. The map I'm talking about here is Presidential Plain. Now, if I had to give it a rating, I'm being a little bit biased, fair warning, just because of those memories, 7 out of 10 for Presidential Plain. I probably would have gave it a 5 or a 6 if I was taking it a little bit more seriously. But I'm talking about my personal enjoyment, my memories with Presidential Plain. Do I want to see it ranked? Absolutely not. But 7 out of 10 for Presidential Plane. Moving on to a map that's not really talked about that much. I don't fully remember what maps were combined in this one, but I know Coastline was one of them. It's Stadium, where it combined 2 maps. It was a unique build, and honestly, it wasn't awful, but it was different. Stadium could be fun to play on sometimes, but I think the look of it, and just me being so used to the build of the original maps, genuinely actually threw me for a loop and threw me off. And I would find myself not super successful on Stadium, but at the same time, I found Stadium actually kind of fun to play. It wasn't that bad. Do I want to see it in ranked rotation? Not really. It's another one of those maps that I would wish kind of stay in standard and quick play, which right now it is. It is not in ranked rotation, and I think it should stay that way. It is a fun map to play, though. It is not that bad. I'm also going to give Stadium 7 out of 10. There's a map on here that is not in quick play, I don't think. That has never been in standard. It may have been in quick play at one point, and I don't know. It is called Close Quarter. This map was for a mode that I can't even remember the name of. If you can name the name of it in the comments. Again, if the comments are even working at this point in time. I don't know if they are. I don't know if they aren't. Anyways, Close Quarter, it was for a mode where you had a deagle, and it was one shot. And it was pretty much one in the chamber with a deagle. That mode was actually pretty fun. I have old footage from it somewhere. If I could find it, I will include it in this video. But I absolutely think that that mode was pretty fun. And just for the factor of that alone, I'm going to give it up a point. But the build of it, it's not even built to even play like a siege map. There's no hard breaching things. There's no place where you can reinforce. It was just strictly for that game mode. So honestly, I'm not really going to rate the map on this one. I think it's more fair to just rate the game mode. And if I had to rate the game mode's an 8 out of 10 in Siege. 1 on the chamber on Call of Duty is always legendary, but usually duplicates in other games that try to do 1 in the chamber like Call of Duty did, it's not going to be as good as the original. That's why I give 1 in the chamber or the Close Quarter map Siege mode a 8 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10. We got 2 maps left to talk about, guys, and if you want to, think about in your head real quick, which maps have we not mentioned yet? Which 2 maps on the entire map roster of Siege right now have we not even said a word about? If you can guess that right now in the comments down below, I promise I will ship a 12-pack of cookies to your house. I want to talk about Villa. This actually is a map that, believe it or not, I used to not like. I didn't like Villa. I always complained when we got Villa. Villa was not for me. I didn't like Villa. But it's another one of those things where my opinion has heavily changed. I actually enjoy Villa quite a bit. I like the build on it. I like how I like the study site. I like the other second floor site. The first floor site is not bad to play. I like playing roamers. There's so many different strategies you can do. And the general build of Villa with I really like the second floor. That's my favorite part of Villa. The second floor sites where it's 90. And you got games room, and you got the weapons closet, and you got aviator, and you got all those different strats you can run on defense where you make the feet holes where you see them running past 90 and you can get them down in the feet holes, or you can make that hole on the wall next to the weapons closet or the whatever I call it the room is, and you can shoot people coming in to aviator from study. There's so many different strategies you can do in this map, and I love the build of Villa, which is why Villa is going to rank, surprisingly enough. If I was talking to the old me that played Siege, he would not be believing what I'm giving Villa right now, but I am giving Villa an 8 out of 10. I actually really enjoy Villa. Last, and certainly not least, my favorite map in Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege of all time. Drum roll, please. I'll wait for the drum roll. It's a long drum roll. You guys still waiting? Don't you guys love how I have the power to just make you guys wait? I know you guys can skip. Don't skip, though. Be a real one and watch the video. Anyway. Coastline. My favorite map of all time in Siege. 10 out of 10. Coastline. I love the build. Just like I said about the other ones, the build is absolutely phenomenal and absolutely perfect. There is nothing wrong with Coastline. Well, there may be a few things, but they don't add up enough to the point where I think it is bad. I think it is my favorite map. I love the build of it. I love where Hookah is. I love the Hookah site and the penthouse site. Even the downstairs site and kitchen is fun. I don't run Blue Bar Sunrise that often, though. That is a site that I got to run more just to try and see how it works. but the strategies you can run on defense and the strategies you can run on offense on this map, and just playing it overall and sitting in your spot and fulfilling your role on this map. Everything about this map is absolutely awesome, in my opinion. Yes, there's a few spots you can get spawn peek from, but they're actually really, really easy to avoid on this map. And I just feel like if there's somebody playing Siege and you want to get them used to the game, there's a certain select few maps that you want to show them. And there's a certain select few maps that you're going to want to have them play right away in custom games. The ones that you're going to want to show them is obviously your clubhouses, your bank, your coastline, your cafe. Those would be like my first 4 I'd show someone new to Siege in custom games their strategies on. Anyways, coastline, 10 out of 10. My personal favorite map in Rainbow Six Siege. But if I had to pick the top 5 maps in no particular order, obviously, Clubhouse, Coastline, Oregon, I think here, Bank, and if I had to put another one on there, in the top 5, I'm looking at a picture right now of the maps. Cafe. Cafe beats Chalet by a little bit. It was between Cafe and Chalet for my top 5. Again, in no particular order. If you do want to actually have me face a difficult challenge, well, you already know what number 1 is going to be on my list. Number 1 will be Coastline, but if you want me to do a top 5 video on my top 5 Siege maps, or my top 10 to make it a little bit more interesting, let me know in the comments down below. And I'm going to end off the video by saying this. I just want to say thank you again for all of the support on my channel lately. It has been at an all-time peak. I don't think I've seen this much success in a row on my channel at all. And it is completely awesome that we have reached this point, and I hope that we can continue to grow from here and on out. Thank you guys for watching, considering liking and subscribing, and if the comments are not stupid and turned off, I will try to figure out a way to get that figured out. Please let me know what other videos you guys want to see, and I will see you guys in the next one.